Good morning and welcome to our channel, and welcome to our beautiful backyard pond. Now this pond is finally the way we always wanted it. We've been fighting with this pond for at least 25 years, trying to deal with different solutions. We've had algae really bad, and we get algae because we have a lot of trees around and the leaves get in the water and they decompose, and that creates nutrients. I have a large farmer's field here, and he treats his field with manure, and sometimes the runoff in the spring, and it runs into the pond, again adds more nutrients. And uphill here, a couple 100 feet, we do have our septic, and I don't think it leaks too much, but probably some does leak into the pond. And over the years, it's just been getting worse, and usually we're in here at least once a week for a couple hours raking out algae. We spend more time raking algae than we do actually cutting the grass. So I want to show you what we finally learned about controlling algae. And the first thing is aeration. When you just have a pond that's contained and there's no water in and out, the water will get stagnant, and that'll promote algae growth, and it's not good for fish or whatever. So we have an aerator right there. Now that's a big 1 horsepower motor, and it makes the fountain 6 feet high and 12 feet round. Now we have 3 other bubblers, and I'll show you that once I turn this fountain off. Now we have 3 bubblers. And you can see one there, and one over here. And those are run by air hoses. Now this is our aerator pump. It's a 1/4 horsepower motor, and it runs a diaphragm. This is just a diaphragm that goes up and down, and it provides air. And that's how the 3 bubblers are fed. I have 3 stainless steel valves. I don't know if you can see them, but they're down just below the water there, and that's how I control the flow. But we don't run these aerators all the time. If you run them during the day, what happens is you're bringing warm air into the pond, and that increases the water temperature, and the algae seems to be even worse. So we run the bubblers from dusk to dawn, and we run the fountain from 6 a.m. till around 10 or 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. till about 11 p.m. also. So this has been our arsenal we've been using for the last 25, 30 years of trying to deal with the algae. And these 4 are basically mechanical procedures. You just rake the algae out, dump it on the ground, let it dry, pick it up the next day, put it on the compost heap. And then about 20 years ago, we started using pond chemicals to try to treat what was going on. So we tried different kinds, and the last couple of years, because our local pond store carried this, we've been using this, Aquascapes lake bacteria packs. And this is beneficial bacteria that you throw in the pond. You do it every couple of weeks or a month, whatever you think is necessary. And it goes down and it breaks down the leaves and the muck that's at the bottom of your pond. And that's what the algae feeds from. Now this here is lake phosphate binder, and all it is basically is a polymer. You throw it out there, and any particles that are floating around in the water, it settles them to the bottom, and then the bacteria can work at it. Now, we dye the water. We use this stuff, I think it's True Blue Solupacks, and they work great. We've got 2 packs in the water right now, and it's quite dark. It usually lasts all summer, and this keeps the algae from getting sunlight. Algae is photosynthetic. It needs sunlight to grow. So if you dye the water, the sunlight can't get to it, because the algae mostly grows in the shallow areas, and then it floats to the top and it floats around. It's just a mess. So years ago, I tried algicides, and it was probably new in the market. It was 20 years ago, but it only lasted about a week. And I didn't want to keep putting basically algicides or copper sulfate. And I know you've seen the videos where the guy goes, "Oh, it's a natural mineral. You just throw it out there," and he's throwing cupfuls of it out there. Well, lead is a natural mineral too, but you don't want to be putting lead in your pond, or copper. So you want to do as little as possible, and that's why we're trying to do it responsible. So last summer, I got fed up, and we were doing all this stuff, and every time we turned around, our pond store was selling different products, and they just said, hey, try this, you know, spend $500, throw it in a hole in the ground. So I got on this website called Pond Pro and had a lot of discussions, you know, by email, and they were very, very informative, and they couldn't, you know, they couldn't talk to the effectiveness of these products. They just had their own products, but they said we were missing algicide. We have to add algicide, and it just allows everything to work better. Otherwise, the algae is just keeps recreating the nutrients in the bottom, and you're just fighting a losing battle. And so I, you know, thought about it for a while, and we'd already bought these chemicals for this year. So this spring, the first 3 or 4 weeks, every week we're in there raking algae again. And I said, I had it. This is enough. So I ordered their jug of their algicide to try it. And all you do is, this is about 5,000 square feet. So you add 1 liter for every 2,500 square feet approximately. So you mix a liter of this stuff in 3 liters of water in a pump sprayer, and you just spray it around the perimeter, you know, 15, 20 feet out where the algae grows. My God, it was amazing. The next day, the algae was gone. I couldn't believe it. So I thought it was going to be short-lived, and that's why I didn't do a video right away. I thought it'd be short-lived, so I wanted to see how long it lasts. And first 1, 2 weeks, no problem. 3 weeks, just around the 3-week mark, started coming back, and I waited 3.5 weeks, and it was really starting to come back. So I did it again, but I put a little bit less in. I want to do as little as possible. Bang, same thing again. So here we are now, almost 6 weeks, and we've done 2 treatments. I haven't quite gone through it yet, but I'm going to be buying more. And they have a calculator on their website that tells you how much to use it, and it even has a schedule of when to use it. I think it's May 15th, July 1st, sometime in August, September. Anyways, I'm going to be following that. July 1st is coming up next week, so we'll probably be treating it again. And I'm just going to try to decrease it a little bit each time, but this has been amazing. We haven't done any algae control in almost 6 weeks, and $80 for that jug. That lasts 2 applications, the last 6 weeks. So, you know, it's cheap. And, you know, our time, you know, we're spending 2, 3, 4 hours a week, my wife and I both. And the smell, and even when you cleaned it, it wasn't all that nice. Let me just show you what the water looks like. So all we have is a little bit of pond grass. And it's not too bad, as long as you keep on it. And I use one of my rakes, and I just rip that out. I guess you could leave it, but I don't want it to choke out the pond. But the water's beautiful. There's no algae. So I thought I'd share my experience on how we deal with our pond. We're not sponsored any way or kind by Pond Pro. I just, they were so helpful last summer. Lots of emails back and forth, and I never bought anything from them until this year. So I'll put a link in the description below. So you could probably just buy the algicide and not do anything else. But I don't think that's the right way to do it. It probably wouldn't last as long, and you just have to keep adding it, and you're basically adding a heavy chemical to your water. And I want to do as little as possible. So to me, the bacteria, the aeration, the dye, and as little as possible, the algicide is the proper way to go. So I hope this helps you. So one last thing, we have these big beautiful willows around our pond, and every couple of years we have to trim the branches, because when you're going through with the lawnmower, it just catches on everything. So in our next video, we're going to show you how we do it our way. We can trim these guys in about an hour. We have 3 of them, and we can trim in about an hour the easy way. Make sure you tune in next time to see that. So for those of you that haven't been following our channel, we have another build going on, big project. We have 1957 VW Beetle, and we're going to be putting a V8 in the back seat of this thing, hopefully. But first we have to get the body ready, and we just got a nice big box of parts from California Import Parts again. So this came in within 2 days, just regular shipping, was great. So now the pond's all taken care of, we can get back to work on this. If you want to see this or other stuff we do around here, please like and subscribe, comment. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.